All right, so let's talk about the Guinness World Records, and let's talk about the rules, because people want to talk about the rules. Every time an interview or a video is posted in which the world records are discussed, especially people in the beauty and barber business, they like to throw some shade about the rules. Common things they say is, I bet they were all buzz cuts. Or they say, how did the haircuts look? I bet they were all crappy haircuts. And the answer is, Guinness World Records have rules. One of the rules of the rules is whoever sets the record sets the rules the first time. Now, when I broke these records, they were already established. So when I contacted Guinness, they provided me with documentation of the rules I would need to follow in order to qualify for the world record. I say this all the time. Breaking the world record isn't hard. Following the rules is hard, both following the rules for the haircuts themselves and then following the rules for submitting suitable documentation for Guinness in order to verify and legitimize the record. So let's talk a little bit about the rules. I bet they were all buzz cuts. No, none of them were buzz cuts because buzz cuts don't count. We'll get to that rule in a minute. I bet they all looked bad haircuts. No, bad haircuts don't count. We had judges witnessing the haircuts who would have been disqualifying any haircut that didn't qualify and follow the rules. So let's talk about the rules. Now, people always wonder, were they all short-haired guys? Here's the deal. Let's run through the rules. Rule number 1, it's got to be a full head of hair. If you are thin in the crown or receded at the front hairline, you couldn't be used as a candidate because less than a full head of hair is less than a haircut. Another rule was we needed to remove ½ inch of hair off of every hair on the head. So as an example, if I showed up to participate, you couldn't use me for a world record because you can't take ½ inch off my sides. They had to be legitimate changes and legitimate haircuts. Another one of the rules, and here's a biggie, is we needed to leave a minimum of 1 inch of hair from the front hairline to the top crown. That is the rule that was specifically in place to eliminate the all over even one guard buzz cut. Doesn't count, doesn't qualify. That is actually a different world record, and I helped a friend of mine break that world record at another time on another occasion. That's got nothing to do with the professional haircutting records. The haircuts needed to be even, balanced, and symmetrical. So, sideburns, if there were sideburns, needed to be even. If it was hanging length like a bob, it needed to be even. You couldn't cut it crooked and say that that was deliberate or intentional. No one else was allowed to touch the hair during the haircuts. The haircuts had to be witnessed by the judges the whole way through. We had people who were responsible for caping and draping. We had people who were responsible for shampoo, towel dry, comb out the tangles ahead of time, but nobody else could touch or cut the hair for the actual haircuts. We had people timing the individual haircuts start to finish. We had to document those haircuts using log sheets of time start, time end, sign off on it. We had a whole group of rules. And it was also very important to me that these were not one type of haircut. While this was not a rule, it was something that I adhered to. These were publicity stunts, and they were charity events, and they were public events. Anybody that wanted to participate could show up, pay their money, and get a haircut. However, in order that we didn't waste time and effort, and in order that no haircuts would be disqualified for failure to follow the rules, we pre-qualified every candidate. So if somebody was thin in the crown, receded in the hairline, not long enough, we took them out of the count ahead of time. We took their money, we gave their money to charity, and we gave them free haircuts later on, but they were not didn't have the opportunity to participate in the Guinness World Record itself. The rules are pretty specific. Today, if you wish to break these rules, you simply go online, you go to GuinnessWorldRecords.com, you fill out their form, they will do the research to identify the record you're breaking, if in fact it exists, and the haircut records exist, and they will send you the information in order to register your attempt. You can't just wing this on your own and do this on your own and say you broke a record. There's a process, there's a procedure, and there's a system in place to make it happen. And truthfully, although it's not official, the haircuts are one of the most difficult records to break because they contain one of the longest and most complicated sets of rules. What is a haircut and how do we define it? It's all laid out in the rules. If you want to set a Guinness World Record for riding a unicycle, it's pretty simple. By the way, did you know I can ride a unicycle? Get on a unicycle, ride the unicycle, don't fall off the unicycle, time it from when you start to when you finish. Whether it's distance or time, piece of cake. The rules won't be more complicated than that. But haircutting's got rules, and the rules are tougher than you think. And it's not a bunch of buzz cuts, and they've got to be good haircuts. One more video coming up in this series about how I'll help you if you want to break the records. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.